Live.
So we are here on Tuesday at 7 o'clock. We are in Ohio, Summit County, and we're glad you guys joined us. We're having a really unique gathering this evening, and we're glad that you chose to join us. Over the next couple minutes, we're just going to talk a little bit about the last couple weeks, and then straight up at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we're going to go live. If you participate, if you ask questions, we'll be shooting those questions and answering them live. And if those questions come up later, so you're watching this as a recording, feel free just to write those comments out, and we'll get those answered as well. So Tuesday at 7, if you are a regular, it's a time to gather once a week, 7 o'clock, to just learn, connect, collaborate, network in the creative community, and we appreciate you sharing your time. If you share this video, and again, if you take a look at your Facebook page and you just hit share, you could share to a group, you could share to an individual, you could share to your friends list. But if you share, and we see it on the back end, so we're going to thank you for those shares, but if you share, we're going to put your name in a drawing next week, and we have the opportunity of, it's going to be a honey giveaway. And so we have a container of honey that we're going to be giving away next week. So not only will you experience, learn about bees, but you'll be able to taste honey that came out of Chad Cook's hives. Was that last year? Is that
last summer, yeah.
Last summer. So when you share to Facebook, that's really kind of, you know, something that really moves this out. So we appreciate your shares in advance. We always start off by choosing a winner from last week. Last week we were virtual with Andrew from Pedal Java. He joined us from Knoxville, Tennessee. This guy does pedal bikes, and he does these mobile, fancy coffee events. And he's really made a whole creative arts out of his business. He does a lot of filming, and he really engages a large community by his videos and his stories. And so the winner is going to get a Pedal Java giveaway from last week. So actually, Chad, why don't you just choose one? So everybody who shared a week, their name is in here. So we have Be Like Mindy, Mary Mitchell. So congratulations.
Hey, Mary Manis
Mary,
Mitchell.
thank you so much. Mary is I call her TikTok famous. She has a huge following on TikTok, but she has a sister of a different ability, and she educates the world on Down syndrome and, you know, the joys and, you know, probably the challenges too of having a loved one with Down. So thank you, Mary, for joining us. I'm going to put this down.
Congratulations, Mary.
Yeah, Mary. Yeah. So 2 weeks ago, we were down in Columbus. We had a remote interview that was run by Sean, and then Andrew did the camera work. So thank you for that. We interviewed Alicia Vanderelli from the Vanderelli Room down in Columbus. And so one of the things that we're trying to do at Tuesday at 7 is to spread out in the Eastern Standard Time into different states as well. So thank you guys for handling that remotely. It was a great interview. But today we're with Chad Cook, and we are with Randy Katz, and we are talking bees. Now, I don't keep bees, but I like honey, and the topic is of great interest to me. So we're just going to dig right in. And again, if you have questions, feel free just to shoot those out. And my wife, Beth, who's keeping an eye on the camera, is going to go ahead and shoot those out at the appropriate time. So go ahead and ask away. Tell us so Randy, I'm going to start with you. So you've got quite a bit of knowledge on bees. Let us know, just, you know, give us a quick introduction.
So yeah, I'm the Summit County Apiary Inspector. So I've done it, this is my second year. And you go around to apiaries in Summit County's a bee yard. And you look at their bees, embellish, help them build, and make their hives stronger. So it's a fun job.
So you're all over Summit County, right?
Yes, all through Summit County. So how many apiaries do you think there are in Summit County? How many bee yards?
I am gonna guess. I'm sure I'm guessing low.
What do you
250.
All right, what do you say?
Oh, I was gonna guess 120.
So no, there's 395.
Wow.
395 are registered with the state. There's a lot of beekeepers that don't have a registered apiary. So, but of those 395 in Summit County, I'd go out and visit them, and I'll probably get to about 50 to 75 of those through the season.
And you come in and you take a look and make sure their hives are
Disease
healthy
free is
and
the big thing, making
Okay.
sure there's no real disease, they're strong, and then bring different tips and tricks and ideas to make them bigger and better.
Gotcha. And then Chad, you're a beekeeper.
Yeah, and I'm actually really glad you're here because I thought I had a disease in my hive last year. I was worried that I had foul brood, which is a disease that can spread, right? And so last year I destroyed all my frames and burned all my hives with a torch, hopefully to keep it away. So I'm hoping we don't see anything that makes it look like that.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, so please project, because since we're out, I think we might be getting some of this external noise as well. So last year, you thought you had a disease, and so you just obliterated and started over. Is that right?
Sort of.
Okay.
Yeah, so sort of. But basically, what I did was, my hives that died, I started over with those hives. So I have some hives that I think are still healthy. So.
What made you think, what were the signs of having a disease, or what was it that made you worry about that?
Yeah, what made me think that I had a disease? Well, first of all, I'm not a very good beekeeper. I probably make more mistakes than I than I have successes. But,
so living life.
But one mistake I made was I was not cycling my frames. I didn't realize that if you don't change your frames over time, that diseases and bacterial diseases like foul brood can infect the frames. And so by continuing to change them and give the bees new homes, essentially you can keep them more hygienic, right? Keep them clean. But I noticed that my bees were not kind of making it into the early winter. I had bees that died, and then in the springtime, the last time when I lost a couple of hives, there were uncapped bees, lots of uncapped bees that from the year before, and we'll show you like what capped larvae look like. But these are bees that never emerged, and so they died inside their comb.
Oh.
And so that's what made me wonder. And I have to say I'm not an expert enough to know for sure, but I was worried about it, so I just did what I thought was a safe thing, so that my bees don't spread it to somebody else's hives. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
Yeah, so it depends what the disease was.
Yeah.
American foul brood, yes, you got to burn them entirely,
Okay.
box and all. I mean, the whole apiary.
Yeah.
But if it's a European foul brood, you can feed them sugar water, and they should be able to overcome it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
So
you should never have to burn your stuff.
Randy,
unless
apiary.
You get me involved.
Yeah, Randy, apiary. I mean, I think that I know what that means by context clues, but apiary, what is that?
It's the bee yard. So
bee yard.
we're in one apiary,
Mhm.
and he's got 4 colonies
Okay.
within the apiary.
Is the apiary this section, or does it extend?
It's the yard. The one.
yard.
It's
Okay.
just this yard. So if you a beekeeper can have a couple apiaries, maybe in different neighborhoods,
Gotcha.
but then it's the number of colonies inside the apiary.
Yeah. Why bees, Randy? Why bees?
It's all good. Bees making honey. It's magical. Really, it's a voice. You'll see babies brood, eggs, larvae mature into it, and then the whole queen scenario. It's magical. Just to see that, and the bee club, Summit County Beekeepers, are going to have a class coming up on queen rearing. That's where it's at. You know what? That'll be very fun. We're going to learn how to raise queens. Only one queen per 60,000 in a box. Each colony should have 60,000 bees in a healthy colony, and there's only one little queen, one mama in there. It's magical. And then if she goes out, if you kill her, if you pinch her while you're doing your work, they sense it immediately. The bees say, holy cannoli, we don't have a queen. So then they send out pheromone. The queen's pheromone is gone. So then they realize there's no more queen, and they'll feed extra royal jelly to a cell, which hopefully will find an egg that's 1 to 3 days old. An exorbitant amount of royal jelly. And that royal jelly makes her a queen.
That's interesting. So if you guys are joining us, we got bees that are buzzing around us. You may or may not hear that, but we are here to talk bees, but we're going to get inside these hives. We're going to search out to see if we can find the queen, and we're going to ask questions along the way. If you happen to share this, and I know that if you've been watching from the beginning, you've heard this, but if you share this, we'll put your name in a drawing next week, and you'll have a chance to taste some of the honey as well from Chad and the cook's hives. So where do we start? So tell us where we're going right now.
So the first important step is to get the smoker going. The smoke is like a fire. When they sense smoke, they say, holy cannoli, there's a fire in the tree. We need to suck up the honey so that we may have to leave if there's a fire. So immediately they become docile and start eating honey. And during that time we can inspect them without getting stung. So that's why the smoke. So you always have smoke at an inspection, just in case they're a little fussy.
So Chad, you're just that's a little smoker, right? Is that a bee smoker?
Yeah. I just use some white or some paper. Usually I start right up. I just use some shredded paper and then.
So as Chad is starting that smoker, Reddy, tell us a little bit about what we're wearing here.
Yeah,
and colors and anything.
A lot of people don't wear any. The prior inspector never wore. She wore a veil because you want to protect your head up for stings. But a lot of people don't wear gloves, and the guy goes with no shirt and very comfortable. Really, there's a lesson to it. They recommend inspecting without gloves because you got to be very gentle, and you're much more careful. You're not going to pinch a bee. When you wear those big leather gloves, you don't even feel it. Yeah. She's gone. So the less the people wear less. Some people wear a lot. Some people wear a little. So.
And so your gloves, the choice here is so you are very gentle. Just when you get the queen in your hand.
The nitro gloves, all you need. They won't sting through these very often. So, okay. So we give them a little puff of smoke, calm them down.
So this hive, we're probably not going to have much in the top up here. This is a relatively new hive.
So we don't even need to take. I just take the whole super off. Yeah. So we got to check the mics later on.
How old is this portion of the hive, Chad? That's obviously
these
really
frames
new.
are brand new this year.
Okay.
You can see it's a plastic foundation.
Yeah. So Randy, they put that plastic foundation because the bees will just grab on and start to make.
Yes, they'll build that up, and you'll see some built foundation, and then from there. So I always say you always want to take the end frame out first, because it's very possible the queen could be on your screen, and you pinch her. So you always want to start on one side or the other and make room as you go in. So, but that's good. Here, I'll take this. Yep. I'll take that. So this is primarily capped honey. So you can see there's honey there, and then, but no queen per se. So let's get another frame on it.
Now, how would you know that there's no queen?
You'll see the queen. She's has a very long abdomen, very unique. Go ahead, take a look first and see if you see her.
Yeah. I don't think she'll be up here because
She's downstairs.
I
That's
know
her-
she's
where the
downstairs,
she's usually where the brood is, where the eggs.
see
the larvae.
You can see the nectar in there. Kinda
Yep.
shimmering
Oh
back
yeah, as
at
the
you.
sun is shining on it, you can
Yeah.
see it.
You have one of those
So
gizmos.
Randy, you said start at the one end.
Start on one side of the hive and work your way in, looking for that queen. Queen's usually more in the middle.
Mhm.
So if she would be on a frame that you pull out and she's like in a pinch point, you'd pinch her, kill her.
Mm.
So by starting at the end, you just minimize your risk. Now there's a drone. A drone is a male bee, and he's a little different. A lot of times mixed up for the queen. He's just got bigger eyes, bigger. I don't know if you can see
Oh,
that guy
yep.
there. That's not a queen. The fun thing to do is to get your kids out here. He does not have a stinger. So you can grab him like that and give him to your 3-year-old.
Oh.
And would you like to hold him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He won't hold. Go close him up.
Oh.
He will
He went
not.
out. So yeah.
He doesn't
won't
want to
sting
be
ya,
held.
And you can learn to mark the queen. Mark a queen by practicing on a
A
drone.
drone.
And I have a queen marker, and I'll show you that. But
That makes sense.
that's a toy.
Now, how many drones?
So a drone should be about 3 to 4 or 5% of a hive.
Okay.
But in different times of the year, like now at the beginning, there can be a higher drone population.
These guys are.
Yeah, we might as well just take this box off and go down a level. So I don't see any larvae. If we see larvae, we'll show you. You have to get in the sunshine and look right as the sun shines into the cell
Oh.
to see the larvae.
Sure.
Now, this hive that we're going through right now, how long has this hive been holding bees? Chad?
Just a couple months. Just a month.
Oh.
So these guys are pretty. Oh.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You get that. I'll get this thing going. So the important thing you want to look for, we're going to do a mite test. There's a varroa mite that's killing the bees. What's killing the bees? They want to know.
Yeah.
It's the varroa mite, and we'll test for them with this tester. Oh, take a look here. You got a good clump of
Oh,
bees
yeah.
right on top. We'll give them a
And you
little
can
puff of
hear 'em.
smoke, and then we'll see if we can't get in and see something. So,
Go in here so you can hear the.
okay, good.
This is just. These are just.
Yeah, just starting. So
just
it's a new
starting,
frame they got to build up.
Brand new, yeah.
So we can't. When you test for mites, a healthy queen should lay 2,000 eggs a day, and we're going to kill 300 bees for the mite test. So it's an easy sacrifice. But if the hive isn't thriving, we won't take a sample. We'll do it from one of the other hives. See some larvae?
Hey, Chad, hold that up there. We got some good sunshine right in front of your.
There's some
Yeah.
larvae and a couple and a queen. So I don't know if
No, it's not capped, so
Super
you're good.
seeder?
You
No,
want to look
just
and
a-
see if there's an egg inside
Yeah,
of
yeah.
theirs, and it's not. It's white. So let's see. Is there eggs? Well, there's a little bit of a. I got to put the sun in my back to see if there's any eggs in there. You can get another frame, and then I'll switch off with you. I don't see any eggs. No rice paddies, I call them, on this frame.
Oh, this one has a lot.
and bees, but yeah, I don't see.
Those drones. Those bigger. Right there.
Sorry, I'm looking to see if most of these are with the big rounder bottoms.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a drone.
Randy, how long have you been working with bees?
So it's like my 6th or 7th year.
Okay.
Yeah. So fun.
Let's see.
You see a lot of drone or brood on there? Eggs?
Not real. I think there's.
Ah, that's a spider.
Let me look at one frame over. I bet we're gonna see them.
I'm okay being out here without a bee hat, but there's a spider, and I'm like, ah!
It's, I don't know what to do. He's going off.
Oh, he's climbing up. Okay. I just don't want him to blow in my hair and find him later. Ooh, that's a lot of bees.
Eggs.
I don't see eggs.
See, the wind is trying to blow him in my hair.
You want me to?
Here you go.
He's coming.
Here's another drone.
Oh.
So keep them in your hand.
Yeah,
Enjoy
for
the buzz there. Enjoy the buzz. You feeling buzzing?
I certainly do.
Yeah, it's really, so you give them to a 3-year-old, and I just seen the videos of that. It's a funny
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
Hey, Chad, will you put this little drone in your mouth?
Let me pop this back inside.
Is it
Yeah.
typical that the majority would be in the bottom like this, or is that
Yes.
kind of random?
So, well, different
although-
times of the year, you can have different,
Yeah.
Oh.
so you're working, we haven't seen this frame here yet, right? I'll take the next frame out.
Look at this guy emerging here.
There's Mr. Drone.
Look at this guy emerging.
No stinger.
He's
Yeah.
emerging.
See him coming out.
Oh. So right there is a bee coming out. How long will that take?
That's a good question.
With his friends walking on his face. Hello.
So I am. It is
Interesting.
concerning that we're not seeing a lot of. Oh, there's some brood. Maybe.
Some older brood.
Okay.
I'm looking for some eggs. That rice paddy inside.
You still have him?
Yeah, let's let him.
Hi, Mr. Drone.
So they could have swarmed, although I don't see
I split
any
'em.
cap swarm cells.
Yeah, I split them into this hive
Oh,
about
you
a
did
month ago.
a month ago.
So I thought that
Hopefully
I thought
now.
they were.
Stop
I
that
thought we were
urge.
going to see
Right in my face.
a queen. And
Oh, so you
brood.
did have some queen cells you put in when you made the split?
No, I just had egg cells, and I thought that they would raise them.
So do you ever hear a notching?
No.
There's a notch where you see eggs. You can make a little indentation,
Uh huh.
and that's supposed to tell them, hey, let's make a queen out of these cells.
Oh, really?
Just kind of gives them a head start.
Yeah.
So what we'll do, I think, is open the next hive, find some brood eggs, and put them into this hive, where you can't do that so well with your.
Hopefully. we
Did you
can
find the
there.
Did you find the queen?
So that's why we're not seeing eggs,
No, we're
and
not
therefore
seeing
you don't
eggs.
see the queen.
Yeah.
Okay.
The eggs, they would lay an egg.
I'm surprised how docile they are
Queens.
without a queen.
Yeah, you're right.
How long would this go without a queen? Would this hive continue?
It can't exist without a queen. So if we don't do something to get eggs that they can make a queen, or give them a way to create put a queen in, they would die.
Okay.
You'll get laying workers. So a queen has sperm. She makes her maiden flight and collects sperm. And these female bees don't have sperm. Without the sperm, you end up with a male drone.
Mm.
So a drone laying hive is when the workers are laying eggs, and they're not fertilized, so they're all become drones, and then the whole hive is drones, and you can't.
And that's not good.
That's not a good thing. You need to get a nuke, you know,
Yeah.
a bi-frame nuke, and it just creates spare parts, spare queens, spare eggs, spare honey, all the things you need. Okay, so let's.
Now, how do you get the top layer back on without squishing?
So we don't want to reassemble the whole thing,
Right.
because I want to put another frame of eggs in this.
Oh,
So we should take out that end frame, and then just have it out of there.
can you guys in the audience hear the buzzing? It feels really loud
And
here,
then
but I
let's
don't know if
put,
the phone is enough to be picking the
Let's
buzzing
put
up.
something on top so they calm down. I always bring a big a white towel, and then I cover them just to.
You want to go get a towel?
Well, no, we're okay.
Okay.
We just, what I'll do is just take this lid and put the lid as serve as a cover.
So again,
Let's go find a frame of eggs.
Caitlin says
and we'll
yes, they
put an
can
egg
hear the
frame
buzzing.
inside
Oh,
this.
great.
So we're inspecting the hives to see how healthy they are, to check and make sure that there's a queen in each hive.
And to check, make sure there's no varroa,
no
no
mites.
disease, no mites.
Is that varroa?
Yep.
Is there multiple kinds of mites,
No,
or is
well,
that pretty
there
much
is
it?
other mites, but the varroa is the #1 destructor of bees. And
Gotcha.
if you're not checking for mites and treating for mites, Ohio State had 30 test hives. They didn't treat for mites. They lost 29 of them. So if you're not treating for mites, that's how
You're
you
gonna
lose your
know.
hive. Now, so this hive here was queen right when you split them.
Well,
Did you leave the queen in this?
I hope so. I didn't
Okay.
find her, so but I
Oh.
was hoping that but they were wanting to swarm, so I made the guess.
Here, so what I did is
We have a
Hold on.
question
But
that says, how does an unfertilized
this whole
egg
box.
even develop?
an unfertilized egg becomes a drone bee, a male bee.
So
it just that's the way it works. He doesn't have the X and Y chromosome, so he becomes a male bee only.
So they're all, for the most part, going to develop. It's the
Yes.
fertilization just
Makes them
determines
into
what
a
they are.
Male or female.
Wow.
Yep.
And as we said before, a drone bee does not have a stinger.
Right.
Right?
Yep. So you were holding the drone. So in the Summit County Bee Club, we have drone races. So we'll take a jar and get like 15 drones, put them in a jar, and then mark each one: blue, red, orange, red, all the colors. And then people in the crowd says, "I'll put $1 on red." Well, I don't know if you're allowed to gamble, but then you walk 100 feet away. You figure arithmetically every step you take. How do they find where their hive is?
Yeah.
It's magical. So then we went maybe a quarter of a mile out, and then we open the lid, and we get on our phone. They're loose, and within 10 seconds, okay, red wins, blue comes in second, orange comes in third, and then it's a fun thing to do even with your kids. So
That's
Absolutely.
neat.
So we are hoping that by pulling apart and searching through these bees that we're going to find the queen
Yes.
and mark her,
Yes.
right?
Yep. So if we find her, we got a little queen clip. We put her in the queen clip so we can keep her safe. She's bigger than the hole, so the worker bees are smaller. They can get out, but she can't. So then we mark her and we'll identify her. So we'll show you that. Here's actually another tool I use. So we'll get her to come inside. We close that up. We raise this up. Then we get my marker pen and dot. We dot her back. Then we put her back in to do her business. So then it's easy to find. A 2-year-old can find her. Really easy.
I'm gonna put this one. This one's cut off, honey.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull this off.
So for those folks who are watching, there's a share button on your Facebook page. If you share this, next week we're going to draw for some honey taken out of the cook's hives last year. As they're getting into the second layer of their hive, there was one on top. Am I right? Is this the middle one?
Yeah, he had. Probably shouldn't have had, but it looks like you probably don't need the top super if that's.
Oh,
They're building it. So you want to have the hive should be 70 to 80% full before you put a third or fourth super, before you put another super on.
oh,
Gotcha.
why is that?
Just because the bees have to guard that area.
Uh-huh.
Here, that's good. The bees have to guard the area, and the more they have to guard, they're not as good.
There's not much smoke at all, huh?
That's all you need. That's perfect.
Some puff.
It's a perfect smoker. And just doing it in the air, just kind of, everybody says, okay, we better get some, so actually if you record right here while I smoke, you'll see them all go down and eat. See that? I don't know.
Oh,
So that just kind of makes them all go down and eat, calms them down, and less chance of a sting. They're busy. He's pulling that frame up. They're busy eating, then they're not going to mess with us.
Now, keeping bees is, I'd imagine, you know, is not only fun, but that you're learning
Every day.
Every day you're into it.
Something new, something crazy. Yeah, it's all
But
good.
the honey,
Yes.
the honey is something
Oh,
we haven't
yeah.
even talked about.
So yeah, the honey, and then so many other things to do.
Yeah.
I have a pollen catcher on the bottom of my hive. So as the bees come in, they go to flowers and get pollen on their legs. And then as they come in through that entrance, I have a screen. It's a little pollen catcher. They go through the screen and it brushes the pollen off their legs. Then I pull out the drawer underneath and I got a drawer full of pollen. Have you ever tasted pollen?
I have not.
No.
So I really should bring pollen. To taste pollen, people are allergic to it, so you only eat a few flakes of it. But it tastes like anise. Someone says anise. It tastes like flowers. It's just a crazy, crazy taste. So there's so many things you can do with bees. So many products to sell. Make candles with the wax.
I don't know if this is Allie or Sean Brennan wants to know if Chad is still allergic to bee stings.
Chad, what happened?
Well, yeah. So I had what's called a large, just sort of superficial reaction. Not like an anaphylactic reaction,
But it wasn't good.
but just in my arm would swell up. So
Oh.
I went to an allergist and I got treated. Most allergists wouldn't treat you for that, but because I was a beekeeper and I had a higher risk of developing anaphylaxis, they treated me.
You got
Now-
allergy shots for them?
Now I don't have reactions.
Okay. Because of that treatment?
Yeah,
The treatment eliminated the reaction from the sting.
that's right.
Wow.
It's all a large local reaction.
Wow.
Lone bee hanging out
You
on
can see
Chad's
some
back.
larvae.
So I don't
Here, and
see
some-
uncapped larvae.
Here's some.
You see eggs?
I see some uncapped larvae.
It is
here.
good to hear.
But
Okay.
I
Thank you
wonder
for
if,
watching, Sean or Allie, or both of you. It is Sean. Hi,
what do you
Sean.
think? I wonder if.
Is those eggs? Let's see. So look for the queen there on that
Yeah.
frame, maybe.
So we're seeing eggs. Eggs are indicative of queen in this box, right?
Yep. So an egg, a bee, a honey bee, female worker bee, takes 21 days from the day the queen lays the egg till the day she emerges.
So point that out. So a female would lay an egg in one of the.
Yes, we'll try to find one. Let's see if we can find. I didn't see.
So I wonder if these are emergency.
Ooh, these, I tell you, these are a little more aggressive.
Yeah,
So this is almost queenless, you know.
yeah. It might
That's
be.
the way I would have expected the other one to be.
Yeah.
So no.
I wonder if something happened to her.
So she was here because you saw her when you made your split, or no?
No, I didn't.
You didn't see her at the split, but did you see eggs?
I should have, huh? So I did see eggs, yeah, and I
You
put
did
some
see
brood in the other
random
hive.
eggs?
You can see there's a couple of these that are
Okay,
uncapped.
so you got a queen cell right here,
Yeah.
Oh.
and it's not open.
So what does that mean?
So this is where it's all good. So well, it's better, I should say. Not all good.
It's on
but
its way to good.
It's on its way to good. There you go. So if you can see this cell right here,
Yeah.
it's going vertical up and down, whereas all the other ones are horizontal. And then you want to look at the very tip of it, and it's capped. There's a seal on it.
Yep.
So 16 days to make a queen. So in she will cap it after 9 days. So you know it's within the next week she's going to come out of that cell.
So another
And then
queen.
Another queen. Then she'll make it queen right. So chances are the queen either died or it was a swarm, and they swarmed, which swarms are crazy now, busy. So what they'll do is they need to spread their genetics. So their natural tendency is to swarm. So I've been busy as an inspector going around. People want to catch a swarm. They find a swarm in a tree. So boy, I went to West Akron yesterday. It was a massive swarm. The lady said it got there the day before, and this was the next day, like 2 o'clock, and it was on 2 branches. It was a big hive.
There's another kept.
Beautiful. So you want to mark that frame. Let's put an arrow on it. It's capped on the bottom.
Yeah.
That doesn't look so healthy. No, it's open.
Oh, it is.
So look at that. It's open. You okay?
Yep.
Why don't you back off a little bit? We should close this up. Let's close this up. So you know you got a queen cell.
Is that why they're more aggressive?
They
Because
will
that
definitely
queen
be
is
more
right there?
aggressive. So slide those over. So you don't have any more queen cells to put into this house.
So I took the camera over from Beth because the bees are flying all over the place.
It might back
You could
off
see
a
them,
bit. So
and they were flying around her hair. I've got some protection over my face, so
Not.
yeah, Beth does not. So it's kind of fun being a Tuesday at 7 host because I never know what we're gonna see.
you ought to back off a little bit.
Yep.
Chad, how many years have you been
Okay, you got one more thing. Yeah.
doing the hives?
Where's the smoker?
Nope. He's focused.
Yep, we got a smoker. So go ahead.
All right, so if you guys see on your screen, if you share this, next week we're going to give away some honey from last year's hives. And as Randy and Chad are really digging in here, I suppose this is the time to to focus on what you're doing, and we're gonna start questions
Well,
and
you
stuff.
got a good population there.
Yeah.
So hopefully that queen will emerge and go to town. So I put one more box on that. Let's put this all back together. So we're done on these, right? Because you don't have any more.
The one thing we do have that I know about is I know there is a in this super
Yeah.
there's a frame full of
Honey?
larvae.
In that.
Yeah.
Okay. Put it back on.
Is it
Put it
big?
on.
Will it be evident
Because that's a shallow, so you can't put the shallow on the deep, right?
when the queen has hatched and
Yes.
is out? Will it be evident? Will there be a change?
They
in-
should become more docile. They should be friendlier, and you'll see her, and you'll see eggs. You'll see her. Actually, you don't have to find the queen as long as you can find that little rice paddy, 1 to 3 day old larva. You put it all back
But
together.
you won't know until going in and looking for her.
You have to go look for her, but
Okay.
then, so she's going to hatch within the next, we said 5 days, but then she has to harden off, get mature to fly, and then she has to go make her maiden flight to get inseminated. So that could take another week.
Okay.
So today is Thursday, next Thursday. I wouldn't look in this hive for eggs until like 10 to 14 days from now.
And will that be 10 to 14 days? Will that be when they're more docile? Will they be
Yes.
more aggressive?
Yeah,
because
no,
she's
they'll-
out and doing her thing.
Well, that is only a couple hours where she does her maiden flight.
Oh, okay.
So what are you thinking to do there, Chad? Are you going to put?
Well, I know there was a frame here that was, I know this queen in this hive was up in here, in this super, because she laid a whole frame full of larvae. So I was looking to see if it's up here, or if that frame full of larvae is
Could
here.
they have hatched by now?
Maybe they hatched, yeah. Maybe they just hatched. So maybe I'll leave it alone.
So, Randy, a short time ago you were talking about a swarm, and so a swarm happens when the queen travels?
So
Is that right?
what happens is the box fills up with bees. There's no more room for her to lay eggs. So they say, gee whiz, we need to expand. So she'll get 40 to 50% of her daughters, and they go. It's magical. I mean, as sad as it is, it's $100 loss. Oh no, a swarm of bees to buy would be more like $200. So you hate to see a swarm.
Right.
But on the other hand,
If you find it.
see, no, well, that's all good too. But I was home and saw a swarm, and it's like it's a black cloud. So I was at this lady's house yesterday in West Akron. She says it came there yesterday, a day before. I'm there to get it, to capture it. Beautiful. And as I'm getting my equipment, they're starting to fly around. Then soon after that, there's a black cloud went way up into the sky, and we're running down the street. You can see that running down the street. No way. I mean, they're way at the top of the trees, but to see this black cloud of bees, it was something magical.
And the bees, the daughters, right, are swarming around the queen for protection.
When they fly,
Yeah.
it's a whole story there. When they fly, how they get around, it's amazing. And they're all in a pretty tight pack. And one goes forward, they say, and then he takes the back of the line, and then the next one runs forward. That's how they move. And they're going to where they decide is the safe haven. And they will make their new home in a tree, most likely.
Now, I heard, is the term queen ball? Have I heard, and I think somebody was holding this, it looked like almost a baseball.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah,
And if I remember correctly, I think that they suspected the queen was there, and
center of it.
they were keeping protection.
So
and
that's the swarm is usually centered around the queen is in the middle.
Wow.
And they're all wrapped around her. So it's pretty awesome. Okay, so I want to put this hive back together. What do you want to do?
Oh yeah, so if you share,
I don't think you need all three.
this is not only a fancy jar, but inside there is honey taken from the hive last year. Now, Kelly, do you know what if that was spring or fall or?
This is the fall honey. So this was the last harvest before winter. Check it out and make sure the bees have enough honey to get through winter. Sometimes some beekeepers will harvest all of their honey, and then they will feed their bees sugar water for the winter. But Chad always makes sure that he leaves enough honey in the hives for the bees, and he'll feed them sugar water in the spring when he sees that the hive is growing faster and they're consuming all of their honey as like a supplement. But for the most part, we just take what honey we need and leave some in the hive.
Is the color of the honey from fall to spring, is it different? What's the difference between those?
It tastes different, it looks different. So like if you can go into the markets and you'll find beekeepers selling like spring honey and fall honey. Then you'll see some that will say like this is cherry blossom honey or this is clover honey, and that's because that is what the bees had harvested during that time. So if you wanted to really get like a micro, like as micro honey as you want, say you have a cherry blossom field, and you would take all of the honey away from the bees and you would put the hive in that cherry blossom field, and you would let them just collect that pollen only, and they would create that honey. And then you would harvest that honey and give them their old honey back. And that's how you would say that this is cherry blossom honey. And when you smell it, it'll smell like the cherry blossoms. It's strictly that pollen. It's the floral. You pick up the colors from that. So typically, like your spring honeys, like for us where we don't distinguish what they're getting, the spring honey is always much lighter in color, lighter in taste and texture, and it's much more floral. And the fall honey, that's when you get all like your really deep yellows and deep orange flowers and that heavy pollens, and you get that really thick, like almost caramelized, deep orange honeys that you often see like in the grocery stores, right? This is when they are stocking up for winter. Like this is what fills the stores with honey, is that clover honey, and so you get the darker honey. So there's definitely a huge difference in the color from spring to fall honeys.
To fall. So we, if you share this, you have the chance to win some fall honey from last year. So how do you harvest honey?
So one thing more on the color.
Oh, sure,
I don't know
please.
if you spoke about the phrenology charts. Do you ever look at those?
Nope.
So the Ohio, you do a Google search on growing degree days. Ohio State growing degree days is called phrenology, and it tells you based on today. Looks at the calendar 5/25 based on the number of sunshine hours we've had, tells you what's going to be in bloom today. So as the inspector, someone will call me and say, I found green pollen coming in. What's green? You go to that phrenology chart, and it shows you a list of what's blooming, what's in bloom, and then you can figure out, and then actually you can Google pollen colors, and it brings up a chart and shows you what plants produce what color pollen, and you can figure out what the heck they're on.
Gotcha.
So that's good stuff. So later in the season is different flowers than earlier in the season, therefore the honey's different colors.
And based even probably, how far do you start to get a different honey or flavor? In other words, east side versus west side, Summit County versus Cuyahoga County. How does that, I mean, is short distances like that change, or?
Shouldn't be,
No.
you know,
Okay.
it shouldn't, it's clover honey.
Yeah.
I don't know, what do you market it as? Do you call it anything?
Fall or spring.
Yeah.
for us.
So you don't know. People say, oh, this is honey locust. Maybe if you got a lot of honey locust and it's that color, I don't, it's an imperfect science.
Yeah.
So a lady pulls out one frame is light and one frame is dark, so she separates it in different colors based on that, and then it's all guesswork the way I see it.
Yeah.
So any luck there? Any
No, so no, and so I don't know if the queen that I put in here. So I'm surprised that these other bees are in here, because wouldn't they have all left if there's? But I put a queen in here, and I put these bees in here from this other hive.
Isn't that fun?
And I thought that there was no way that they would stay in here if there wasn't a queen, right? Why would they stay?
If there's eggs, they usually stay with the larva.
But there was no eggs. There was just a queen and a bunch of bees and some
Huh.
I put a feeder in there.
So now, should the queen have emerged on the other hive?
Yes. So this was a week ago. So this was 5 days ago. So we should have. There should be.
Go give that. It doesn't sting. You can give that to your kids.
What kind of bee is
It's
this?
a drone.
The drone, right?
It's a drone.
So there's no stinger.
No stinger. So you can hold them in your hand, and your kids can hold the drone. I don't know if you want that.
They walk around and hold them.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have one daughter who thinks of them as her pets.
Okay. Good.
That's when they walk.
Okay, the drones.
Yeah. Well, whichever ones climb on her when she sticks her hand.
She get a worker bee?
She's never gonna smoke. She has no fear.
Well, guys, we appreciate you joining us tonight. All right, so Steve.
Yeah. So you can hold them by his feathers and learn to mark them and practice marking the queen. So,
We have a question from Steve, and the question is, are there other species that are kept in this type of manner? Are there any other bee species, carpenter bees or anything that might be kept in this manner?
do not know all the answers.
Do not know, okay.
Are there other bees?
Carpenter
Ants, I guess.
bees.
Well, he did ask about carpenter bees.
Carpenter bees.
So carpenter bees would, now we're going to find the queen maybe. Boy, these are very docile. So now we couldn't do that on his other hive. We run our hand over like this, they bing, 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 bing. They were against us. But these are more docile, which tells you maybe there's a queen here. Until it doesn't. And then the queen.
I wonder if after I put her in this hive, I wonder if she came.
Very
I wonder
possible.
if she went on her maiden flight and returned to this
very
one.
possible.
So I've got this one sinking in because I took one of these frames, which doesn't quite fit, from that hive and put it in here, hoping that they'd build
Everything's
some
not interchangeable then amongst your top hive.
Yeah.
So can you just lift one of these up, or what do you do?
Well, so I'll lift one of these back ones.
Okay, fine.
And
So if you're just joining now, they're smoking. Just a little bit of smoke will make those bees calm down. And
this is a neat hive.
This is a top bar hive, very unique. So a fun question for your folks: where was beekeeping invented? Anybody know? Where do you think beekeeping was invented? Surprisingly enough, Langstrove is the inventor of this style of beehive over here, and he's from Medina.
Oh,
So
really?
if you wondered what the Medina High School mascot is, it's the bees. They're the Medina bees because all beekeeping began in Medina. So if you go to Medina downtown, so this guy was in the 1800s. If you go downtown, they have a lot of linden, basswood trees all over because he was on the board of the city, and he wanted basswood all over the place because it's a very bee-friendly tree. So there's all of Medina has basswood trees.
I'm sure you guys can probably hear those bees buzzing around. We've got our pretty ladies back there. They're 10 foot away, but away from the buzz.
Okay, wait, you got a queen cell here. 2 of them.
Yep.
Are they capped? Let's turn that upside down. Oh no, they're open. So you ought to open those up. You ought to get rid of them. So next time you look, you don't say, "Oh boy, wonder if they've emerged." So
Oh, really? So even though there's, so because there's no brood in them.
No. Yeah, well, I guess you'd want to see that too. But just by opening that up here, and it's just going to pull it off, I guess. We'll just pull it off.
So you're pulling off an old.
So there was a queen in there. She opened it up and came out. She came out through the bottom of it. So we always look at a capped queen cell.
So I know this one. There's one. There's a just a bee climbing around in there.
So that's good to knock those off. So did you look at this frame? Take that frame out here. You're gonna see a bunch of them on that.
Yeah.
So by getting rid of them, you don't, next time you come in, say, "Oh boy, they're making a queen cell." So, oh boy, bunches of them. See, they're up and down. They're all open on the bottom. So that one's closed. So.
Yeah. Oh, and the bottom one's closed. Okay.
What you could do.
And so that one's closed too.
What you could do is take those off and put it into that other hive, and maybe there will be a queen hatch out into that son of a gun, and you'll be queen right.
Do we know which one to gently remove and move?
Well, so you'd get the fanciest, longest, fattest, juiciest queen cell you got, and so that way.
Let's make sure we have brood in here.
You're right. That's a good idea. So you wouldn't want to take the queen cells off and then find out this hive is queenless.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Then, well, that would make it queen right, but then you just killed them. So you got to make sure you. So you have that in mind? What frame that was? We need to put an X on that. Yeah. So here's something you should never leave home without: is a goofy China pencil. This is excellent to write on the lid of a hive, or just put an X on it, so then we can find that. These are priceless to a beekeeper.
Eileen, we see your comments. Megan Stewart, that's my family. Eileen, so interesting. She loves bees. I think that we share that in common. And I love honey too.
That's a good call. No sense of knocking those off until we know there's a queen. No brood. A lot of drones. Yeah. So a lot of drones is a bad sign because the female workers say there's no queen in here. We got to do what we can, and they start laying eggs, but they don't have the sperm, so it's all drones. So when you have a hive of all drones, kind of makes you think it's not queen right. Need a tool.
So I thought that they could raise a queen.
Only if there's an egg. They have to have a fertilized egg.
Even an
unfertilized egg can't be a female.
Never be
so the queen always is a female.
We got some
So
cells
you need
here.
to find. What do you see? Oh.
Got some cells on there.
Yeah. So it's open.
Open.
Though.
Yep.
Yeah. So knock that off there. I just pull that off. Good. Yeah. Okay.
So Randy, you had mentioned earlier the reason why you're wearing gloves is because it allows you to
Grab that. You have hard to do with the heavy gloves, which most people wear the leather ones. You don't have dexterity. So a lot of people don't wear any gloves, but I call it a little safe. I'm going to wear these guys. And they very seldom sting you through them. Boy, no larva. What the heck?
Yeah,
We got to find some eggs.
Queenless hives. We're in trouble.
So you can buy queens.
Yeah.
So I know somebody that's selling some.
Yeah.
So you have to take the queen rearing class the
Yeah.
county's going to have. Doggone it.
Well, maybe we'll have that lion hatch.
Yep. That's all it takes. Funny to see all those uncapped queen cells.
I shouldn't have removed that. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's a drone.
Yeah, it's very easy to mistake the drone for a queen. She's big.
So how do you know, as we're continuing to look for the queen, how do we know when it's time to take honey?
So
Or
it'll
harvest.
be capped. So if it looks very different. So here, you'll see this frame here, how the top left-hand side is capped.
Mhm.
They've covered it with a wax coating. With that wax on there, the whole frame will be that way. So what that means, if it's capped, it's not much moisture. It's like 85% pure. If you do it early, there's too much moisture, water in it. But when they cap it, you know most of the moisture's out of it, and you're good to go. So what's going on here? That's another queen cell right there. Is that open on the bottom?
Yep.
Okay. No egg in it?
Nope.
Okay. Let's knock that off there. Okay. Yeah, it's open. So.
This is probably the first.
Yeah.
The
That's
first
just
yard
seen
you've ever
none.
inspected with no queen.
I've not seen any brood. That's disappointing for the camera, because you want to see eggs. Didn't you see one emerging?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. Like say, there's a lot of
But they
bees. in
really
it.
need to be within. They probably need to be within a few days, huh? You can't just put capped.
Yeah, no, you need eggs. Right.
Yeah, eggs, not just.
Right. So you can buy queens, mated queens is what you'll need.
Yep.
Wow. I mean, there's a lot of bees, and they're calm. Like say, they're docile.
Yeah.
And no brood. That's kind of surprising. Normally, when there's no queen, they're a little bit fussy,
Yeah.
like that other hive.
Maybe she's in there somewhere
It just hasn't started.
and just hasn't started.
Yeah, maybe she just came out of one of those queen
Yeah.
cells.
For sure, a con.
Maybe that's very possible. So you check back and give her a week to make her maiden flight.
Might as well buy a queen though.
Yeah, for one of them.
For one of the other
Yeah,
hives.
right.
A couple of queens.
So
And that's a fun process
so-
to buy a queen.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
you got to
it's also
buy a
the
queen.
works.
You put her in a cage, and you'll wedge her in between two frames. And then the bees smell the pheromone and say, "Oh boy, we're queen right." and being queen right, they will start feeding her, taking care of her. So you want to see that. And so when you come back after 3 or 4 days, you'll take that cage out, and if the bees are on the cage feeding her, you can knock them off very easily. But if they're biting her and trying to sting her and kill her, which is very possible, they won't come off. It means you got to leave it another 2 to 3 more days. Then come back out and look to see if they've accepted her. And if they've accepted her, you can take out the little cork that's keeping her in the cage, and she'll, it's all good.
Yeah. What about
Oh, we didn't check for mites. You know, let's do a mite test. Take out a frame with mite, with a decent amount of bees.
So we're going to do a mite test here. We are talking bees with Chad Cook and with Randy Katz. They're Randy, what is your title, right?
So I am the Summit County Apiary Inspector, and we're going to check for mites. Easy check for mites. So all you do, you ever use one of these?
No, I use the powdered sugar.
Oh, that's not.
Yeah.
That's not good. So here, so you just take it like this, and we're just going to rub their backs, and they fall right into the it's an alcohol wash, and the mites can't hold on to the alcohol. So then we cover this up. Can I do the other side? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lot of drones.
You just want to make
They're
sure.
starting to fly around here.
Okay, this will piss them off. There's no question. Okay, good enough. That's good. Put it all back. Okay, then I put this into here, and it's like a washing machine. See that tumbler? So I got to spin it. I'm shaking them around, and that tumbler has to spin. And as that spins, the mites can't hold on to the bees, and they'll drop to the bottom. And we'll look to the bottom. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Do you see that?
Are there mites?
That's why you don't have any eggs. You got to treat right this. So you want less than 3%. You want to have less than 3% of the bees. So when I do a sample, the bees died. We lift this up and we can see there's a line. So we have about, there's one line's 100 and 200. So if you look on this side, we probably have about 150 bees in this sample. So 3%, you want maybe 4 to 5 mites. Take a look. Count them.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 maybe?
You got a
about
mite.
4 times as much as I should have.
You got a mite bomb right here.
Okay.
So the mites will kill the bees. The mites will kill the queen. The mites will kill the larva. The mites will. So you just got to go. I would get Formic Pro.
Yeah.
And treat 1, 2. Get enough for 4 colonies. Treat them first. It's a 7-day treatment. Get your queens.
Yep.
And then the queens right after. You take the mite away strips out. Put the queens in, and you should be back in business.
Yeah.
But so you got to order those strips. So I didn't even finish really doing this.
Yeah.
So, but when you see you got that many, holy cannoli!
And that's just isopropyl alcohol.
This is and they say 92% is a little bit better. But I don't know if you can see that in the video there. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Way too many. Way too
That's
many.
what happened.
Well, and it's just, so this is good news. Not that we're finding mites, but the fact that we're finding them now, right?
Yes, their hives haven't died.
Yeah.
So there's a life. So people use their hives over the winter, and that's because they're not treating for mites. So these hives none of them would make it over the winter.
How often do you check for mites?
So you want to check for mites once a month.
Oh, really?
Once a month.
I would check maybe twice a year.
No, well, so if you're
Obviously,
so a
that's
lot
not
of people
practice.
proactively treat without checking,
Yeah.
which might not be a bad thing. They say everybody has mites. So yeah, that's something you need to get right on. That could be the reason we don't have any queens. You know, so
Yeah.
that's what you need to do before any more peril.
Yeah.
Here's your.
Good. Thanks for
Yep. So that's
coming up with the
It's
diagnosis.
a goofy little hand tool, but it's important. So
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I mean, we had hoped that we would find a queen and mark her today, but you guys have taught us a lot about bees. If you share this video, right, and your name is drawn next week, and then you get some honey from the fall last year. Tell us, is there anything that we miss? What about, is honey good for you?
There's the honey. Delicious honey.
It's packed with carbohydrates and calories, but it's also full of pollen, and you can actually. Some allergists think that you can absorb. You should digest pollen in anything that you swallow. You should digest, and your stomach breaks it down, and it should be gone. But what you absorb through your mucous membranes can sometimes expose your immune system to it, and so it should help you with allergies. So there's sort of controversy about whether local honey helps you with allergies, but I believe it helps me with my allergies, and so I like to take it for that purpose. And of course, like when you're out, when you have bees, you're breathing the pollen, you're being constantly exposed to what's in your world, and so I used to have a lot of seasonal allergies. They don't bother me so much anymore. I think I'd give my hives credit for that.
Gotcha. So, and Randy, tell us about what we discovered, like a wrap up for what we discovered tonight. This might be something that you encounter from time to time, and you know, kind of wrap us up as we kind of finish out.
Yeah.
And if there's any questions left, yeah, let us know those.
So
yeah.
then, the fun question you asked we didn't answer is how you get the honey out.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you can answer that. How do you have an extractor?
I don't have an extractor. What I do, I love to take honey out of this hive particularly because you just take the comb right off, and I just chop it up and let it strain overnight, and then I take the wax and render it, melt it, and make candles out of it. If you have a extractor, it's a lot more efficient because you leave the wax behind so that bees don't have to rebuild it. So our bee practice is maybe not the most efficient, but it's useful to remove the wax because and then they always have fresh comb to lay in. So
That's it, huh?
Yep. So if you're a member of the Summit County Beekeepers Club, you can rent the extractor.
oh really?
So we have an extractor with the club.
Oh cool.
And then you rent it for 3 days, and it's a centrifugal force, and you spin it, and the wax goes to the bottom and drains right out of the nozzle. Then you take the wax and make candles out of it, do all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah.
So, much
Well,
good.
sign me up. I obviously need a bee mentor.
And the Summit County Beekeepers has a mentor program. So we get your zip code and match you with other beekeepers in Hudson. So it's good.
There you go.
So your wrap up is just we looked to see if there were eggs and brood and larvae. We didn't see them, so we do a mite test, and we found a lot of mites. So we got to treat for the mites. Once they're treated with a week's treatment, then we'll put in a queen, and hopefully queen right, and everything's booming in it within a month.
We have a couple of what are they called, queen cells that may hatch,
Yes.
and hopefully after the mites are treated, will exist as well, right?
Hopefully
And
so.
thrive.
Yep.
Any last questions? All right, guys. Thank you. Well, first of all, thank you, Chad. Thank you, Randy, for joining us. Of course, Kelly and Beth, you hold the camera well, especially when all these bees are buzzing. I mean, I'm like, she's getting close. But and we thank you guys for joining us this Tuesday at 7. Remember, if you share, we're going to draw for some honey next week. We'll get your address and get that out to you. And thank you guys for the education and just the enjoyment. I love just watching, and I enjoyed the bees buzzing as well. So, guys, we'll see you next week. Keep an eye out because we usually announce the guest the weekend before. So, thanks for joining us.